So it's been kind of like a while since I've worked out here. So I'm really glad to be back in the gym. Yeah, I'm just gonna do some exercises, and later on I'll make a couple of videos for you guys. And yeah, I'm basically I got a babysitter for, finally, and yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I'm definitely going to take a hike today. Maybe I will show you some certain areas too of my town because they're extremely beautiful. But anyways, let's do some exercises. Oops, my hat. Basically, the slower your exercises are and the more controlled they are, the better it is for you. The more basically, the more of a workout you're getting, the better it is for your muscles and therefore for your body. So you want to make sure that you're doing all the exercises like as slowly as you can, because it really does help. It makes a difference. Yeah. Whether you're, exercising with weights or without weights. But like I said, before in one of my videos, my form isn't that great. I probably should spend a little bit more time on learning the proper form, when it comes to certain exercise moves, because my form is not the best for sure. Ladies and gents, and welcome back to another video. This is an interesting video, right? The background is actually I'm in the gym. Anyways, so I got on an exercise bike again, although I don't do really cardio unless it's like walking, and maybe around once every now and then, basically, right? But anyways, for the sake of the video, I'll get on an exercise bike again and go very slowly because I'm just here in the gym. I haven't been in the gym in a while. I've been doing like home workouts, and so for the sake of the video, I'll just do some cardio too. Anyways, it's also really hot out today, which is really cool. It's nice. It's much better than it being very cold, right? So I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna try to. Try not to get too hot, but I'm always usually too hot anyways, right? And so I'm probably going to be sweating a lot during this video, okay guys? I'm already sweating. Anyways, I hope you guys are all taking care of yourselves and you're doing really well. What I wanted to discuss, okay, is a narcissist, okay? And in particular, an aging narcissist, okay? Aging narcissists, what are they like? What happens to a narcissist as they get older? Okay, guys, what happens to a narcissist as they get older is very bad, actually, okay? It's like, first of all, due to the fact that they don't release their emotions, their negative emotions, they not only age faster, okay, because of that. Because emotions, guys, energy in motion, right? Emotere, it means energy in motion, which means it's energy. Emotions are also energy, just like thoughts, just like your words, okay, and everything else. And so emotions, they get trapped in our body, okay, and they need to be released. They can be suppressed. A lot of times we do suppress them. Sometimes it's even necessary, at least for a short time, right? But then we have to release them in one way or another. Narcissists, they tend to hold a lot of bad emotions in. And the reason being is because they don't forgive others too easily. They tend to hold grudges. They have a lot of anger, a lot of resentment. They hold grudges, okay? They don't forgive. Forgiveness is that release of negative emotions. In fact, guys, we should learn a lot from narcissists. They can teach us a lot about, they can be like our cautionary tale about what can happen if we don't release negative emotions, if we don't learn how to forgive, and if we don't eventually become honest with ourselves about our life, about the things that we're doing, about, and of course that means to tune into your emotions and to finally start listening to them, because our emotions are our compass, right? And so they point us in the right direction, okay? We feel about a certain thing, for a reason, right? We feel a certain way about something, a situation, or a person for a reason. Our emotions are there to guide us. Okay, I know a lot of people in our society today, they think emotions, they're for wussies, right? Like, you're too emotional, la 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 la, right? So emotions are made out to be this something to stay away from, right? Something that's terrible, something that's only meant for women, right, to embrace. And so a lot of men don't embrace their emotions, even though they're more emotional by nature. They even feel more. They're more sensitive as children, and I already discussed this in one of my videos, right? And so you want to get back, you want to learn to identify your emotions like a child, if you never learned that, right? And you want to regulate them. You want to be able to manage them in a proper way. And before you explode, you want to learn how to prevent that from happening, right? Let's just say you're getting frustrated. If you can identify the frustration, that it's there, you can do something about it before you explode, right? And so, anyways, also, our emotions pinpoint us into the right direction. If we're feeling bad about a certain situation, we don't have to stay in it. I know society will tell you that you have to stay in a certain situation. Maybe it's even yourself in your own mind that's telling you this, right? Maybe you're telling yourself that, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, you don't, okay? Sometimes you maybe do, but in most cases there's another way, and a better way. It's just you and your own mind is keeping you trapped where you're not supposed to be, really, okay? Because your emotions are not in it. They're not in it, okay? They're telling you that you should get out because you keep on feeling bad, right? And so guess what happens? You get emotionally depleted over time if you stay in that relationship, if you stay in that job, if you stay in that situation. You will get so depleted, okay? And so drained that, eventually you'll get disconnected from your soul, okay? Because emotions are the language of our soul too, right? So all of this is connected, right? It's intervened. And so if you disconnect from that, okay? If you disconnect from your emotions, if you don't listen to yourself, if you don't listen to your emotions, eventually also, because you're constantly forcing yourself, right? You're emotionally depleting yourself. Something will happen physically, okay? So it's spiritual first, then it's physical, right? You're going to get very sick physically. You might start getting cancer. You might get another form of sicknesses, a disease, right? And so you have to recognize it for what it is, okay? You have to fix the spiritual. You have to get connected to your emotions, start listening, okay? And then if you follow your emotions, okay, which you should be doing, then it will guide you to the right place, okay? It will guide you, it will guide you to something that you actually like doing, and you'll feel good about it, right? And so that will also help you to connect to yourself. Although, of course, in order to feel your emotions, you also have to connect to yourself, right? So that connection, that emotional disconnect, it tends to happen, like I said, when we do things we don't want to do. When we're forcing ourselves, or when our family forces us, right? When we have a certain image to maintain, or we feel like, we have a certain image to maintain, right? So usually, right, it happens to most people when they're not in alignment with who they truly are, and when they're trying to live up to someone else's expectations, right? So they're trying to create an image, right? And a narcissist does this, right? And unfortunately, they do this for most of their life, okay? And so, when you do this, right, like I said, you will start aging more, right? Because you are depleting your life force. You're depleting your life force, okay? Your life force is what gives you that glow, it's what gives you energy, right? it what helps you generate energy. That connection is what helps you generate energy, and without that energy, you're gonna start getting very depleted, you're gonna start aging very, very fast, right? And that's what happens to a narcissist, guys, because we'll go back to this again, right? A narcissist depletes their energy very quickly, okay, and they have to constantly get their ego fed, right? And so, because they're always living in illusions, right? They've created an image, and in most cases, they don't like their jobs, okay? They don't like anything that they're doing, really, okay? In most cases, they're not in alignment with who they are. They're just doing things to maintain that image, okay, to please others, really, in a sense, right? And so, because they're doing that, they're never connected, right? And because they're never connected, they need to get that energy from other people, right? And they need to get that constant validation from others, okay, from external sources. Sooner or later, though, guys, a lot of people become aware of what's going on. A lot of people get to know the narcissist, right? And so they tend to just stay away. They tend to get away. They start, distancing themselves, right, from this person. And so the more that they do that, the less sources the narc now has to get their supply from, So because they don't have that many, and as they age also, right, they become not as attractive, right? And so they start panicking. They get into a panic mode, okay? They start getting surgeries. They start getting, everything is physical for them, right? They're not focused on, they don't want to go within, or they can't, right? In order to fix the root of the problem, right? And so they try to fix the surface, right? So they go and get their hair done. They go and do, they go and get their boobs done if it's a woman, right? Their breasts done. They go and do the facelifts, right? So you guys, I don't want to make assumptions, right? But in most cases, if you see someone who is much older, right, and they have like really blonde hair, like bleach dyed hair, right, and everything is done on them, and they look like, excuse me to say this, but they look like blow-up dolls, right, basically, but just like an older version of that, right? Then that's probably a narcissist, unfortunately, In most cases, guys, what we want to do, right, is we want to really connect to ourselves, right? And we want to go from being, in most cases, right, or for many of us, especially if we grew up in narcissistic, abusive households, right? We got very disconnected from ourselves, right? And so that disconnect created, once again, we started wanting to change ourselves on the outside, right? In order to please others, in order to get that love and validation from other people, right? So we started also becoming kind of like a narcissist, right? Getting, changing our appearance in hopes of getting liked and becoming popular and so on. And of course, it all comes down to self-love and love in general, right? And so embracing yourself is all that it's about, right? The older that you get, the more you should embrace yourself, okay? Because guys, you can get disconnected temporarily, right? But then sooner or later, you should reconnect to yourself. You should heal. You should work on healing. You should go within, right? And either talk to a therapist, talk to a trusted friend, right? You should start journaling. You should start embracing or using all the tools that will help you heal, right? By the way, speaking of tools, guys, I did create several audios, okay, that you guys can purchase, okay? It's only $20, which is nothing, basically, okay? I recorded a couple of hypnotherapy sessions, guys, so if you're shy in person, and or if if you don't have the means simply, right, to purchase regular live sessions, then feel free to purchase those audios, okay, guys? I did create them just for you. I want as many people to use them as possible because I know they can be very effective and they can help you, So if you need more self-confidence, right, or if you're looking to attract more abundance into your life, which also comes down to being confident, right, and really valuing yourself and loving yourself and believing that you deserve more abundance, right? then feel free to purchase those tapes, guys. The links are in my bio. Okay, this is kind of like spontaneously just came up for me. Okay, I didn't mean to sound like an advertisement, but hey, if you create, okay, if you're a creator, if you're making creations, there's nothing wrong with like advertising them. Okay, especially if they benefit our society, right? So anyways, guys, so yeah, you want to, as you're getting older, right, you want to become wiser, right? That youth should be replaced with wisdom, you know, really, right? In a perfect case scenario, right? And so you should be embracing yourself. And how can you tell that you're embracing yourself? You're not trying to become anyone else, you know? You're not trying to get plastic surgery so you can look younger, right? You're not trying to change your hair around completely, right? Dye your hair and then damage it completely. You're embracing yourself. You're embracing maybe your gray hair that's coming in, right? You know, you're embracing your wrinkles, you know, which are beautiful, right? You're embracing everything that comes with old age, right? Because that should be replaced with wisdom, right? And yeah, you're embracing your body. You're not trying to have, you know, the BBL today, the stick figure tomorrow, right? All these trends, they're stupid, they're dumb, right? They're nonsense. Okay, they're for people, broken people to follow, unfortunately, for people that are not embracing themselves yet, you know? And just because you haven't embraced yourself yet doesn't mean that you will never will. So have hopes. It is possible to heal and to finally embrace yourself completely, right? And not become like an aging narcissist, okay, guys? Because aging narcissists, they get sick, they get older much faster, and they look much worse on the outside, right? Because as within, so without, right, guys? So if you have healed, right, everything will be transformed about you, including your physical appearance, guys. Okay, you're not gonna have that many wrinkles, right? You're gonna age gracefully and beautifully, basically, right? As aging is natural, it's for everyone, right? None of us can like really avoid it, right? So it's okay. Your eyes will also be very different, guys. You'll go from, your eyes will reflect your healing is also, okay? You'll go from having very like angry eyes, right? And maybe eyes with a lot of pain, right? And just mean eyes, right? Like you might have been told in your pictures that you have this, you know, or maybe you've recognized this about yourself, right? And that's because you're holding on to a lot of these negative emotions about situations and people that have hurt you, right? And you never release them. Once you release all of that, your eyes will become visible again, guys. They will glow, they will shine, and you'll be able to other people will also see this too, you know, and you will see it about yourself too, which is beautiful, right? And so you want to change, you want to evolve as a person, and you want to go within. This change takes on the outside, on the inside, not on the outside. Just remember that, okay? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Much love to you.